This is episode 548 of the Eventing Radio Show, brought to you by Eventing Riders Association of North America. This week, we've got Wooge Fulton, we've got Fylicia Barr, and Canada's Sue Ockenden. This is Max Corcoran in sort of overcast, kind of chilly, but green and pretty Lexington, Kentucky.
And this is Joe in sunny, beautiful, amazing Ocala, Florida. And you're listening to the Eventing Radio Show. Max, how are you doing up there?
I'm doing great, Joe. It is beautiful up here, but it is it's chilly. Quite honestly, no. But it's a great. I do love this town. It's a great spot. It is fantastic here, and we're really lucky where we are. But it's not Ocala.
It's fabulous. I love it. I love it up there. I love it going up for the event. I love going up to train my students there and things. And you've got wicked little bars and cool restaurants and all the rest of it. But for me, I'm allergic to Kentucky bluegrass, so it's very much a sort of, like after about 3 days, I'm like bunged up and all the rest. I could never live there, but I do love to visit.
Yeah.
Bourbon distilleries and stuff. It's fantastic.
And some of the best, like you said, really good restaurants.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a great place. It really is.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy here in the other world. Capital of the horse, or whatever it is.
The other horse capital of the world.
Horse capital of the world. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So we've had some adventures recently, Joe. You and I.
We have. Yes. Yeah. We managed to get through the Land Rover, Kentucky, 5-star.
First 5-star in the world.
First 5-star in the world. First 5-star for our little Johnny, who was amazing.
What a dude.
He was a dude. He was fantastic. Unfortunately, he was a bit sore, wasn't he, on the Saturday night, Max, and just some muscle shoulder. And he rallied in the morning, but we just sort of ran out of horse a little bit. But he did the most fabulous cross-country round, which we were so proud of him.
Unreal.
He was amazing. Yeah.
Really was unreal. But he's, now he's on holiday and chilling out, getting ready for the next.
Yeah. He gets fat fast too. He puts on weight so quick. Yeah, you wouldn't think, but he does for a thoroughbred.
He's just like, he is a thoroughbred, isn't he?
Yeah. No, he just he's put on so much weight already. But he is a probably knee-high Ocala grass. So
yeah.
But it was great. It was a fantastic competition this year. Not much has changed. The course did change quite a bit for the better, for the worse. It was just different. It was a fantastic course. Some of the things that Derek did I thought were better. I especially liked the two skinny logs up, or what were the log things on the mounds this year compared to those fallen trees, which I came unstuck at last year. But they rode really well, and the head of the lake was nice. Was nice, but it had a very challenging out.
Yes.
It was a very sharp turn from a jump up over a duck to a narrow where you could go either side of some brushes, and then it was 6 strides to a bounce out, or you could jump the left-hand side of the brush and you could dog leg your way there and things. So, it was awesome. It was a good course. We had perfect weather, perfect footing.
The guys did. You can't ask for better ground than that, really.
No, it was fantastic. There was the roping is done by Bob and Kay Wilpath, who used to run the Richland Horse Trials, and they are also they're also part of the Team Johnny Syndicate. So I just wanted to shout out to Bob and Kay and say what an amazing job they did. There was one rope going into the water, the water jump that had the little skinny 4 strides to the log, Max.
Oh, yep.
I said, Bob, you couldn't just move it back a bit. Could you just give me a couple of meters, And he said, "Oh, I'd love to," but Derek was adamant that's where it had to go, so you had to really kill your pace before you galloped into and made a little turn to the skinny in the water. But so that was really cool.
Yeah.
But
and the other thing that I found amazing when I was walking the course, which was kind of fun, I walked with some of the grooms. We had a great little afternoon, and it's all around all the jumps. Every single stake and roping, every piece of rope is separate. So if there's something that happens at any jump, that they can pull the top of the rope off and let someone in, let somebody out. It is the thought and the effort that goes into that, and the attention to detail is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's so cool.
It's amazing.
They just love doing it. They've got barbecues for the course builders, and they're just super people.
I went to that barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
It was a great barbecue.
I know, it was good.
They had a big fire.
Yeah.
Okay. And guess what part of the firewood was, Max?
What was it?
Well, it was one of the old 4-star signs. They said we don't need this anymore.
That is true.
Went on the fire. Oh, it was funny. They're a really good crowd, those course builders. They do an amazing job.
Yeah.
So they really do. It was an excellent event for me, because not only just because it was a good start for Johnny, but Tim Price came over, and that was awesome, because it's I'm not going to say I get a bit lonely, but it is great when another Kiwi is there. And I get to compete with them, so, and it hasn't, I live over here now, and obviously it's been quite a long time. So Tim was over and said, "Where are you staying?" He was bunking in one of the caravans. Like, he just, he could have had a tent, Tim.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Wouldn't have worried him, eh? No, exactly. He just and so obviously he was in the campground with us, and so we had a lot of barbecues and dinners together, and that was really cool. And walked the course, and had his experience to draw on as well. So that was fantastic. And sort of said, "Well, what are you thinking?" And one of his first comments was, he can't believe so much is already done before the start of the show. Okay, he sort of said, you look around and you're there on the Tuesday, and it's pretty much all up ready to go. There was a few other things being built. And he said, this is quite amazing, really.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is one of the best events in the world, easily, hands down. Yeah. I think it is. It's just it's just really well organized and thought out and sorted, and they've got they just do such a good job. It is fun.
No, it's a fantastic.
And you won some money at the phasic tipting party.
I did.
That was pretty slick.
I won $1,000, Max.
Yeah.
You know what? A couple of years ago, that would have been a Rolex watch.
I know. That's the stinker of it all, isn't it, too? Yeah. You got your name on the hat. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm fine. $1,000 is $1,000. I was very lucky. Yeah, I won the $1,000. It's a prize draw for the riders who go to the Fylicia Tifton cocktail party, and it's a really fun night. You don't have to be there for a really long time if you think you've got an early dressage or you're a bit stressed or anything. But I mean, it's a great thing to do with the horse owners and syndicate members and other friends and stuff. And so we go there, and lo and behold, I won the draw. So yeah, that was fantastic.
Right.
We even got third in the teams, Max.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We got third. Yeah, they have an international team. Our team was Australia, New Zealand combined. So there was Dom Schramm and Tim Price and me and the other girl from Australia, Hazel.
Yep.
So apparently I wasn't even the discard score, Max, which was always good. So, but so that was fantastic. But it was a really, really good week, all in all.
Yes.
And great win for Oliver Townend, of course. I mean, he led from start to finish.
Yes.
And did really quite amazing. I mean, there was, and he would have been clear inside the time. He took, I think it was a hasty long route, you would have said.
Yes.
at the last water where he sort of said, we're not jumping that, and we'll go around and do the option, and but that was a really good effort for him. And so congratulations to everybody, and we're already looking forward to it again next year.
Absolutely. So, go Johnny, go.
No, another year would be a completely different horse. So
yeah.
If you know anything, well, you and I know Johnny quite well, Max, don't we? And like every year you come along and say, God, he's got stronger, hasn't he? It takes long time. It takes a very long time.
Oh yeah, no, it does. It takes him a long time, doesn't it?
And then the next week was badminton, Max.
Yes, and that got very exciting right to the end.
Well, I just wouldn't have called that myself. And what happened to anybody that lives under a rock is that that Oliver Townend on his other horse went into the final show jumping with one rail and some time faults in hand, and had the one rail down, and then had the time faults, and Piggy Fringe won, which, like I said, I just would never have called it, but that's the way it went.
That's the sport.
That's the sport, and that was a weird weekend because that was the day after the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, which was very odd.
Derby, if you say Derby in America, Derby in England.
Yes.
Which was another one of a real bit of an upset, wasn't it, Max?
Yeah.
With the horse being disqualified. So
yeah.
So badminton. I sat and watched the whole lot, and it looked fantastic.
Me too. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want to say it didn't look like the toughest badminton in the world,
no.
but when you're not there and you're not on the ground, it's very easy to be the armchair quarterback, isn't it?
Right. Exactly.
But, I would say that the waters probably were softer than normal. I would
say that too. Yeah.
It did look a little bit softer, but I mean, it's just how it is. But it was fantastic. So congratulations to all of those people. We tried to get Pig French to come on for an interview, but she wouldn't answer her phone, Max. So
no.
Anyway, we've got other people. We've got better people.
We got great people. We actually have a great show.
We have got a great show, Max. We've got Fylicia. What's her surname, Max?
Barr.
Yeah. Who won Jersey Fresh, and she's going to come on, talk to us about herself and her horse and how she bought it for $500, which I think is just the most fabulous story.
Yeah.
We've got Sue Ockenden, who's going to come on for a little bit of preview of Bromont and to tell us about the under-25s. And we have got
Fulton telling us about her badminton experience and her time over training with Dirk Schrader.
Dirk Schrader.
I don't want to say it wrong. I know that's offensive.
Brucey and I call him Dirka. Yeah. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but that's what Bruce taught, so, but Dirk Schrader he's done very well. I mean, he's a great rider himself. He's been really successful, but he's training some really good people like Yoshi Iowa is there, and he's a great mate of mine, and there's a lot of good things happening coming out of there, even if you have to be in Germany, which is fine.
Which is tough. Can be tough. Can be really tough. Yeah.
Well, as long as you like pretzels and schnitzels and stuff like that. I mean, it's not so bad, but I mean, yeah. So anyway, but Max, we should probably get on with our show.
Absolutely. Joining us now is the winner of the Jersey Fresh CCI 4-star long, Fylicia Barr. Fylicia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, first of all, huge congratulations on the big win there. That is this your first FEI win?
Yeah, thank you. It is my first FEI win, and it's actually only my second win on this course.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's fun. Well, what a great place to do it then, isn't it?
Yeah. Talk about good timing.
Yeah, exactly. So, Fylicia, I'm sure our listeners are dying to get to know you a little bit better. So, can you just give us a quick rundown, or where you're from, where you started riding, all that other kind of good stuff, and of course, this fantastic story about how you've got your mare.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started riding when I was 10, in a 4-H barn. So I did a little bit of everything. I did the jumpers, I did dressage, I did barrel racing and reining, and, some low-level quarter horse shows, and, really tried my hand at a lot of different things before I found eventing. And I actually started eventing with my first horse, who was a kill pen rescue. And he went up to a training level, and we decided that he was really more suited for the jumpers. He loved the cross country, but he wasn't going to go higher than training level. So I just stuck more with the jumpers with him, and so we started looking for the next project horse that I could maybe event a little bit more seriously. And my mom found an ad on Craigslist for the 3-year-old warm blood mare, and I was like, this is a scam. There's no way that's real. But sure enough, we went out to see her, and it was real, but she was $500 because they couldn't handle her. I mean, she was feral in every sense of the word. She wasn't halter broke. She was living in a field. She really hadn't been handled. So when we got her, I essentially had to treat her like a Mustang. I put her in the round pen. I tried to bring her food every day so that she could get to know me a little bit better. The first time I put her in the round pen and I went to go feed her, she actually chased me out of the round pen, ears back, teeth bared. Like I ran for my life, and he scaled the side of the round pen. And I think I was only 13 at the time. So we definitely bit off. Yeah, we bit off way more than we could chew.
And how old was she at the time?
She was coming to. So.
Oh my God. Okay, so she was definitely feral. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I don't know really what we saw. I mean, obviously her conformation was okay, but outwardly she did resemble a bit of a mule. She wasn't always the most beautiful at a young age, but she really blossomed, and she made us work really hard for it. So I feel like I'm more suited now, being a young professional, having all of that knowledge that she gave me.
Yeah, I guess it's a trial by error, isn't it?
So how old was she? How old was she when you broke her in?
I think we tried to back her when she was 3. And I say tried because I think we tried to back her 4 or 5 times. The first time I sat on her, she just went straight up in the air. So we did call in help from a local professional, who, he helped me at least get the basics on her so that I could ride her without her coming over on top of me. But yeah, she really did make us work very hard for it. And actually she had an injury in the field that prevented us from riding her in her 4-year-old year. So it wasn't until she was 5 that we really started doing some serious stuff with her, which I think benefited everyone, because then she had more time to mature. She was being handled every day. I had to soak her foot every day. So it just made her grow up a little bit more. So when I did come back to trying to ride her and train her, it was much easier.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And where was all this? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Olean, New York.
Okay.
Like an hour and a half south of Buffalo.
Yes. Yeah.
Right in the snow belt.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, those are some bad winters.
Isn't that where Daisy lives now, Max?
I think it's up in that area. I think
Daisy
it's sort of
Trafford?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's up near the Finger Lakes. Is that right?
Is it near Nunda?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And where do you live now?
So I live in Kennett Square right now, and that's where I'm running my business.
Okay. Excellent. Along with a bunch of other people. There's lots happening there, isn't there?
Yeah, it kind of is like a mecca for eventing. You know, I'm 10 minutes down the road from Boyd, and Philip's only 5 minutes away, and we could hack to Plantation Field horse trials if we
nice.
wanted to. I mean, we're really lucky with where we're located.
That's awesome. So talk us a little bit through your prep for this. Where did you do your qualifiers and everything getting ready for Jersey Fresh?
So unfortunately I was unable to go south this year. I just have too many young riders and adult amateurs that are here, and you know, the business at the end of the day for me right now has to come first.
Yeah.
So I did have to stay north. So there was a lot of jogging hills with my snow goggles on, jogging roads with my snow goggles on. And I actually swam her at Maui Meadow. They popped on the heater for me so I could go up and swim her. So she did come into this season very fit, but the footing wasn't really appropriate for me to do a lot of actual eventing with her. We did Morven Park Intermediate and placed second there. And then we had planned to do the Fair Hill Advance, but we
rained
got
like
rained
a
out.
mofo, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it did. We did the dressage and the show jumping, but decided not to run the cross country. In the show jumping, it was just a total downpour. I remember canning around to the truck bar.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I'll never be dry again. Not truly. You never recover from that kind of wetness.
No kidding.
Yeah, I remember cantering around coming to the triple bar, and I saw a guy with a shovel in the ring digging trenches in the ring to redirect the water. I was like, yeah, that's eventing. Like, only eventers would do this.
Oh my God. Oh, that's crazy. Well, good on you for picking and choosing, though, because as we know, that's an important thing, is to be looking after these guys especially when it's your only one, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not able to have more than one right now. It's just not in a place financially to have two competing. So yeah, I really have to protect her, and I'm very lucky because she is a very stoic mare. You know, she's tough. So yeah, I've been very lucky with, you know, knock on wood, with, you know, limited injuries and all of that kind of stuff.
And how old is she now?
She just turned 11.
Okay. Oh, so she's just growing up.
Oh, yeah. We're just hitting her prime, I think. So hopefully these next few years we'll be able to continue, you know, with this success. That's
awesome. That is great. So who would you say is your biggest mentor?
Right now, I've really been getting a lot of help from Sally Cousins. She actually drove up on Sunday, you know, the hour and a half up to come and warm just me for the show jumping, and her help has just really been invaluable this winter and this last fall.
That's awesome. She's a person that knows it all really quite well, doesn't she?
She's great, Sally.
And she had a horse really similar to Sunny, you know, who just is a bit of a hot mare. You know, it takes a lot to, you know, maintain her tension, and, you know, she still has that fire inside her that I saw on day one.
Yes, and to have a conversation with them and a discussion with them. It's not, you're not telling mares what to do. You're sort of being like, hey, can we try this? Okay, no, okay, fine, good, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the effort.
Thanks, thanks for coming out. That's funny. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's definitely the queen of the barn right now. You know, she walks out to the field, and all the horses just know that she is head mare.
That's awesome. And was this your first time to Jersey Fresh?
I did the short there last year.
Okay. All right. So you're a little bit familiar with the land and the facility and all.
Yeah, and I've gone out that direction for horse trials with younger horses. I really love that venue, so I take some of the young horses out there too.
Yeah. And it sounds like you guys had a bit of rain again on the Sunday, didn't you?
Yeah, it's funny. They were interviewing us before going into it, and they're like, "Oh, are you worried about the weather?" I was like, "We just jumped at Fair Hill. Almost, you know, we can manage anything."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that amount of rain prepared us for the freezing cold rain that we had at Jersey.
Oh my God, Joe, do you remember 2 years ago when everybody was ill, that it rained and it was so cold
Max.
Every day? Oh my God!
How can I forget, Max?
Oh, that was the worst.
Except for, I was one of the few people that didn't get sick, that didn't
get
eat the chicken
poisoning.
salad. Yeah,
exactly.
Like got the food poisoning there, and there was a lot of people like couldn't even ride that were drawing because they couldn't even, And I was up there training, and Max was up there grooming and helping someone out, and we didn't have to do much, did we, Max? We were just
because my rider couldn't ride.
That's right, yeah.
and we sat. It was so cold. I just remember being so cold and so wet. It was absolutely pouring.
It was freezing.
The guys had done such an amazing job on the course. The ground was actually, the foot going was actually not bad, and the guys had poured so much effort into the competition, and it was we're like, oh, the poor thing. And I just remember being like, yes, I don't have to go. Like I was so sick, but I was so excited we didn't have to go out in the rain.
Yeah.
We watched the event riders masters as well, didn't we, Max? Yeah, between commentary and stuff. We sat in there. We may have started on the red wine a little bit earlier in the day. Well, I just needed. I was freezing, man.
Yeah, we had that heater on us. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. That's one of my least fondest memories of Jersey Fresh. So your weekend, you were what, fourth after the dressage? Is that right?
Yeah, I was. I was sitting in first most of the day, and then at the very end of the day, some of the last few riders, crept up the leaderboards too.
Yeah, and then your cross country she was super on that. That was a good day. Yeah,
she was brilliant. Sometimes a little too keen.
I think I saw a funny picture of you guys in the water, maybe.
Oh yeah, yep. She hung a leg in the water, but I don't know how she stayed up. I mean, the pictures just really show what an incredible athlete she was. And in that moment, I was very grateful for her athleticism and my Voltaire saddle for sticking me on. I don't know how we saved that. That was was a little nerve-wracking.
It's a cool picture because she's landing, and you can tell she's had to contort her body in some weird way, but yet she's still looking for the next set of flags.
Yeah,
the ears are forward, and she's like, "I'm going next." Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I always joke, like, if I fell off in the middle of the line, she would just hold her line and just keep jumping. Like, she doesn't need me. She just, she's just hunting for the flags. I'm awesome. Just the one telling her where to go and trying to keep her from going too fast.
Yeah, exactly.
And so fantastic when you get horses like that, isn't it?
No kidding. Yeah. You can't teach them that. They just, they got to have it or they don't
love
sometimes.
It.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And what's next on deck for Sunny? She's having a little break right now?
Yeah, she's on her mini vacation, day 3, and she's already, unhappy that she's not doing anything.
Yeah.
She's like, every time I walk by her stall, she sticks her head out and bangs on her door, like, please come give me a job. I don't need a vacation.
That's funny.
She doesn't know what she just did. She's ready to go run the course again. So I'll try to keep her on vacation for a few weeks, and then I'll bring her back. And the plan is to spend the summer really honing in the dressage and the show jumping, getting out to some recognized dressage shows, to some recognized show jumping shows, and then come in August to gear up for the 8s. And then I'll just do the fall 4 stars in preparation for Kentucky next year.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a pretty grand idea.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
this year, we're trying to gear up for the big one in the spring.
Yeah, and do you have to do another long format?
Nope, this was the last event we needed to qualify, but I will do Fair Hill in the fall anyway.
Yeah, Fair Hill's super. It's a great event. Yeah. It's a great run around to keep them going for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so close to me. I mean,
it's around the corner, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good experience, Fair Hill. Even though
every
Max
year
and I don't like to bathe the horses with buckets and stuff like that, but no,
on a hose.
Go around Fair Hill, and after that, if you go around well, you should be ready to go to Kentucky. I mean, that's generally the rule of thumb. It's got a fantastic cross-country course, but there's some changes coming there too, Max, isn't there? We're meant to be having a 5-star next year. So,
yeah. I know they were talking about breaking ground, and they had some webinar, I think, even today. that they were doing something so you could see what was happening. So that should be cool. See what happens there.
Yeah, that's so exciting to think
Yeah,
about
right
a
around the
5-star
corner.
being in my backyard.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, exactly. Well,
exactly. I mean, I love the story. I love the fact that you got it for $500 as a 2-year-old. I think that's just fantastic, and I think that's it's just really admirable. And like, I wish it just goes to show that it can be done. I mean, like, some of us breed horses and buy them youngsters and do all of that sort of thing, but I just really like it when it hasn't been someone that's been heavily funded into a very expensive horse, like
you produced it yourself.
Yeah, you've produced it yourself, and congratulations. I just think that's fantastic. And to go all through all those stages, of breaking in or learning to break in and all of that sort of stuff to get to this level, I think is fantastic. I really do.
Yeah. And that's, like I said, it made me feel really well suited for the position I'm at now. Because I am still very young, but I have 18 horses under my care in my farm. Well, I'm renting a farm, but in the farm in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there is one question I have got, and it's I just thought of it, and when I produced my first advanced horse, and a few years later, I looked back and thought, there's quite a few things, not a few, if other things I might have done differently, and for the horses for the future. And I want to ask you the same question. I mean, like, is there anything that you might have, what have you learned on this journey, or is there anything you might have changed for producing horses in the future?
Yeah, I think it just is all about developing a plan that works for each individual horse. I mean, some horses come into my program and are ready to go to their first event right away, and others, like Sunny, you have to take the time. So I've tried to look at every horse from a new perspective, in the sense that maybe some need more time, and instead of trying to focus on going out and winning and doing everything right now, thinking about the building blocks so that maybe the horse isn't winning right now, but what's the best training program to make them happier and more successful in the long run.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Jesus. That's like a whole world of things you can't even teach anybody. It's really impressive. Yeah. Sing it, sister. That's amazing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Wow. There you go.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy, but
no, it's not supposed to be. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? I mean, it's not supposed to be easy.
And I would have none of this knowledge. But it's funny, we shipped back from Jersey Sunday because it's so local. I just shipped right back. I gave her dinner. I put her out in her field with her friend, and then I went around and just mucked all the stalls. Like, just
it's what
that's
you do.
reality, Exactly. Yeah. And now I'm just like loading up all my teaching schedules. So, back to reality now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's what you do. Get the jobs done and on to the next.
Yeah. You gotta have the love for it because it's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, Fylicia, thank you for coming on, and really enjoy this one. Yeah.
Yes.
Because that we have there's many lows and not enough highs to go with them. Yeah. So go out and really celebrate and enjoy it, and congratulations, and thank you for coming on the show. So and we would love to catch up with you in some other time.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. This was fun.
And joining us now is from all the way over yonder across the pond is our American friend, Wooge Fulton. Wooge, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you've had quite a year so far. I mean, it all sort of started in December when you were given the Wilton Fair grant to be able to have a big chunk of change to go training, and then from there tell our listeners a little bit about what you're doing, where you are, and what's happening.
Yeah, I felt like I won the lottery a little bit. Probably as close as I will ever come to doing so. So right basically from that USDA convention, I went on a little hunting expedition to Germany to find a place to go. I thought it was important just sort of knowing myself and knowing my horse, that I didn't want to sort of get, I'm not sure if stuck is the right word, but I didn't really want to get stuck anywhere. Yeah. And I'm not super good at standing up for myself in a situation that I don't like. And so I thought before I spent all of that money, and at the time I was supposed to take 2 horses over. So first I went to Michael Young, and I have a very good friend that used to date Michael and also owned one of his 4-star horses, Leopold. So she was sort of my in there, and I'm very lucky that she, got me that opportunity. And so I was supposed to spend about 10 days there and just sort of see what it was about. And needless to say, it was super, super cool, but not I just didn't feel like it would probably be the best thing for the horses that I had right now and for sort of where I was in my life. But they didn't start at 8:30 in the morning, and they had a 2-hour lunch break, which I was pretty stoked about. But
really? Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah. That doesn't. Yeah, that happens at Buck Davidson eventing all the time, doesn't it? Like
hang on a minute.
So, all the time. Yeah.
So when do they actually do their riding? From 8 till when?
If I remember correctly, it was like from 8 until 11, or like 11:30, and then you break usually until 2, and then 2 until basically 6.
So you end quite late.
And they didn't have to. Quite. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
relative.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and they didn't have to do stalls. And they had automatic waters and that kind of thing. So there was a couple things that cut down on, the big ticket items,
right.
Take a chunk out of your day. But anyway, it was really cool. But I was just like, this isn't really for me. So I made a few phone calls, and my lovely mentor and friend Sharon White was like, you know what, you should give Dirk Shadow a call, because I really like him. And she had a student, Woods, who had just spent a year with Dirk. And Woods was very complimentary. And I was sitting in a hotel and called Dirk, and he was like, yeah, sure, come whenever. And I was like, all right, well, you're 7 hours away, so I'll be there at 9:30 tomorrow morning. And he was like, okay, whatever. So I got my rental car and bombed up there. And yeah, I really liked it. And he seemed very straightforward and very, honest about what he could and what he couldn't do for me. And most importantly, he had Sharon's blessing, and that, for those of you that know Sharon, know that is hard to get sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we sort of had a date set, and I was going to bring Captain Jack and a young one, a 1-star horse. And we were supposed to leave on the Friday, and on the Wednesday, he became very, very lame. I was able to call Duda and get our flight pushed back a week so we could sort of find out what was wrong with him. And as it turns out, he had a very weird, rare, incurable bone disease.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
This is your 1-star horse.
Bone Island.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was 7 years old, and a Dutch thoroughbred cross. And we took him to Newbolt, and then they were like, regrettably, they were super excited about it, because
it's not always great when vets are like, ooh, look at this. Yeah.
Yeah, look at this thing. They're like, can we do more tests? I'm like, good God. Is this covered by insurance? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was super depressing.
First thing, isn't it? I hate it when they ask that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. And normally, I guess it's found in only older race, like thoroughbred horses, but he's, one of a kind. And I guess I was naive enough to think that in this day and age, we didn't really have many rare incurable diseases, then we don't know what caused them, but we do. And he is one of them. And unfortunately, for most of those horses, some of them recover from their initial lameness, but usually within like 5 years, they're put down. So his owner was, and I feel so bad for his owner because it was the first horse he's ever owned. He was super excited about it. We're going to Germany. We're psyched. And I'm like, sorry, Nelson. So we actually ended up donating him to New Bolton, where they promised that he will live out in the field and only come in for periodic x-rays to monitor the bones. And hopefully they can give him, the best life possible.
Wow.
So anyway, that's
low point. We're going to the high point now. Okay.
Yeah. So Captain and I came over, and February 8th we got here and sort of settled right in. And honestly, the experience has been way better than I thought it was going to be. I sort of prepared myself for the worst. And it has been really, really great. Everyone here is nice, and they all speak English, and they're friendly and helpful, and definitely have a good handle on sort of helping the American find her way in Germany. It was a little bit unnerving because the competition season doesn't start until I think my first show was March 30th.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And you're supposed to do badminton a month later.
Exactly. And coming from, down in Florida, luckily Captain was never a horse that we did a ton of runs with before Kentucky. Like, he never did the try-on or chat. He just sort of ended with Carolina and went right to Kentucky. But still, I'm like, if something went wrong, we had a million opportunities to do another show.
Right.
And this was like, yep, you've got 2 chances, and then go do the biggest event of your life. So don't screw this up. And like, it was snowing, it snowed like 2 weeks ago.
Sorry, we're laughing at you. Not with you, we're laughing at you.
I don't miss that one little bit.
Yeah.
So
like this morning it was 32 degrees.
Oh, that's so rude.
Yeah, it does heat up there over there. So what was your first event? Where was it, in England or Germany? Where was it? Which?
It was in Germany. It was at Gilmulin.
All right.
And it was a 3-star short. And it was cool. It was, it was nice to sort of see the facility. I had never actually been to the 5-star, but, just seen pictures. And it was nice. I compared to sort of a May days at the Kentucky Horse Park. It was nice to sort of see what it could be, but it wasn't super overwhelming. But it was crazy. They only had the 3-star short division there, and there were so many amazing horses and riders. It was ridiculous.
Right.
All of them were a little bit fresh coming out, but they had everyone in a warm-up ring. I'd say maybe half the size of the Show Jumping Arena at Rocking Horse. And for dressage.
Yep, that's what happens there.
There was not one crash.
Nope.
I mean, and just everyone's like doing their thing, and I'm like, Jesus, no pressure. Like, trying not to run into anyone, let alone like actually try and keep my horse chill. But like that in itself was a huge lesson, right? It's like, now how can we have 75 horses in like this little tiny ring, and at home we're bombing around on giant fields and people are like, left hand to left hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's what people complain to me about show jumping warm-ups. I said, have you guys ever been to Europe? I said, they've got like a place the size of a shoebox, and they've got 2 jumps, and everybody gets along, and they get it sorted, and they go in the ring, and it's fine. And they're like, no, they don't. I was like, oh, believe me, yes, they do.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It works just fine.
That's what comes with having more space here, man.
Yeah. No, and that's just right. Everyone just sort of gets on with it, and it's just what you do, and it's what they've learned, and and that everybody preloads, and it's very, very civilized.
Yeah, and it's just like, I was like, oh, so like, when is my show jumping time? And they were like, well, just when you're done with dressage, put on your jumping saddle and go do it. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right,
like,
that works
gonna
too.
Be a mess, And I get over there, and like one of the other riders was like, hey, do you need one more horse, or is it fine if I go? Or like, what do you want? And I was like, yeah. Like, no one has ever asked me that in the States, like, all right, this is cool, thanks.
Yeah.
And no ring stewards or anything.
No.
But it was a nice course, and we basically just cantered around. He hadn't been able to do too many gallops, so it was a nice, just nice, like, sort of remember how to do an event again, because it had been a while.
And you hadn't, at that point, you hadn't gotten into badminton yet. You were sort of a bit on the wait list and sort of waiting by the phone.
I didn't get into badminton until the Saturday before.
Oh my God. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I was still on the wait list.
Wow.
And then from there we went to Poland for a 4-star short. And that was a whole nother amazing and very, very, very different experience.
Yeah. How was the trip there, Wooch?
It was nice until we got into Poland, and I thought we had 2 flat tires in the lorry, and it was like,
that's right.
And they were like, no, that's just the road. Okay, cool.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I went. Yoshi, who rides for Japan, also rides with Dirk and is based here, and so they were nice enough to take me along with them. And so we went there, and it was a really cool facility, and they did a really good job sort of, I don't know, the lorry park sort of looks like the tanks just rolled out from the war. And like, there's still like some glass on the floor, and like you're like, Anne Frank, are you in there? Like, just like it was just taking a step back in time. But the actual, the facility itself was, and the show management was, top class. And the cross country course was beautiful. And they had all sorts of like cute little wood figurines. And, on Saturday, you got the sense that this was very much like a social outing, like the Polish people's badminton. Everyone was wearing their Sunday best. And so that was cool. And then from there, we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And then finally got the call that we were into badminton.
Nice. And so tell us a little bit about that, because that is sort of every event rider's on their bucket list, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel very lucky to have been able to go, and even more lucky to compete and come home with a sound horse. On one hand, I always try and sort of make it just like another horse show, because that's how, you kind of don't get starstruck and don't get like all panicked about like, oh my God, I'm at badminton. But it was really cool on Sunday to be able to be like, yeah, we did it. That was exciting.
Yeah.
And then you just start thinking about like, how can I get back,
Right. Because you've done Burley, right? You did Burley a few years ago.
Yep,
and so this was sort of your bit of a trifecta, isn't it? You've done Kentucky, badminton, Burley, and now badminton. And so what do you think of the course? Which one do you think is the hardest?
I think it was interesting when I walked it, because when I walked Burley, I was like, I literally remember turning to Buck and I was like, can my horse jump this high? Like, the brush is so big. And he was like, in typical Buck fashion, like, I guess we'll find out, won't we? And I was like, thanks, buddy. But like, the course just looked like just big, but also I was a little bit okay with it because I know that my horse is really brave. badminton was different in that it was like mentally exhausting. Like I felt like there was not one fence that you could take for granted, and they're like quote gallop fence. Like fence 14 was probably the most of a let up fence since fence 1, and that was still like a big chicanery with a huge ditch on top of a hill.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Not exactly what you would consider like gimme fence. And just, like sort of like, when you think about the course, it was like combination after combination, angle after angle. And, people always say that you can't see on the TV the terrain, and the weird little like dips in the ground and that kind of thing. And I was lucky enough, I went to groom there, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So I had at least seen it before. It's always a little bit different, obviously, when you're just like, oh yeah, I could do this, easy peasy, as opposed to when you're actually like having to do it.
Yeah, it's a different story when you get there, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was very glad that I was riding captain, because A, he always keeps going. B, he's just like he holds no grudges. He's always like, all right, whatever.
Down to the next, yeah.
But I will say, towards the end of the course, I was like, Jesus, is this over yet?
So tell me about your first impressions, Wooge. I mean, like when you rolled up there and you drove round by the village hall and you unload and you do your in-barns and stuff, and what were you thinking then? Were you excited? I mean, I can tell you when my first time I drove up to Badminton with a horse in the back of the truck, I was absolutely over the moon about it, and I was just like so excited. Been there so many times, and it was like finally I get to ride here. So what were you thinking?
Yeah, I was super relieved because I drove myself with a borrowed little lorry. And I was, first of all, just worried about the journey. I left here at like 6:30 p.m. and I got there at 10:30 a.m. So it was a bit of a long drive, and I was like, Jesus, if we can make it there, I'll just be excited. But then definitely driving in and, all the like little old British ladies come out and they're like, put this here and do that here and wait for the vet there and everything.
Yeah.
It was just like a little bit smiling to yourself, like, well, I'm glad we're finally here, and I'm glad that we can, it's just such an accomplishment, I feel like, to get a sound horse to the show ready to compete, It
is. It's huge.
And certainly Captain's a little bit older, and we were in a new program this year, and new fitness and new hills and no hills to gallop on. And so you're just kind of like, if we can just get to the show, I'll be super relieved. And then you get there, and of course, then like a whole new wave of nerves and anxiety washes over, because like, well, now we actually have to do this thing. Now that we're here.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so, what about when you it's quite a long hack from the main house over to the dressage warm-up area and stuff, and like, what are you feeling when it's your time to go, when you're trotting into the ring? Is it any different, or are you extra excited?
I feel like I've had sort of a unique experience growing up in Buck's program, in that I don't want to say you take it for granted at all, but it was always like, okay, he takes 3 horses to Kentucky, like that's no big deal. Okay, we're taking another horse to Badminton. Okay, whatever. So it wasn't like, oh my God, we're going to a 5-star, time to freak out. And definitely with Captain, he, dressage is by no means his favorite thing. And as I was, walking over, I saw a friend who's a dressage judge in the crowd, and he walks over to the fence and he's like, that's pretty shit luck that you drew Friday afternoon, huh? And I was like, yep, but we got in.
That's right. That's right. Beggars can't be choosers at that point, can they? Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, yep, exactly. But I thought, maybe if nothing else, would have a little excuse for him being crazy in the ring, because he's going to be crazy regardless. Regardless if there's 5 people in the stands or 500. And I was admittedly a little bit disappointed, because he's been getting so much better, and Dirk has worked so hard, and Captain has worked so hard on getting more relaxed and getting better. And Leslie was also there, and he watched our lessons, and he was like, yeah, he looks like a changed horse. And Dirk was actually, I wasn't really sure, he's very German, but he also turns out is a really good coach, and just had a lot of ideas for me on how to get ready for it. And like the day before, he was like, you cannot go to bed tonight until you can imagine you and this horse doing that test perfectly. He's like, you don't need a 19, but you do need a 25. And he's like, as soon as, like in your head, as soon as he tenses in the corner, or as soon as he breaks in the medium, you have to just open your eyes and then do the whole test again. And for me, I thought that personally really helps, because we are an old partnership, and I know he's going to go nuts in the ring, but me knowing that isn't going to help him. So I just sort of took a deep breath, and I was like, all right, well, let's try and, do the best that we can do.
That's all you can do. That's all you got.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we came out of the ring, and Dirk said, that sucked. I'm sorry. We're going to do better next time, but you got to forget about it now, because you've got
on to the next. Yeah.
The biggest thing you've ever done tomorrow, and you can't be dwelling on what you should have done better today.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much longer are you over there with Dirk?
I'm hoping, touch wood, I'm hoping to do Burley again.
Nice.
And so that's first week in September. And then after that, my money will be about up, and he'll be on vacation. So then hopefully we'll come home.
Excellent. And are you getting to ride some other horses, obviously, while you're over there?
Yeah. It's a cool facility, actually, because Dirk probably has 30 in his program. And then he shares it with his business partner, Christian Hess, who's a show jumper. And he probably has maybe 40 just straight show jumpers.
Nice.
And then there's another, Pia Munker is here. She has some event horses, and then there's 2 or 3 just straight dressage people. So I'd say there's probably 90 or 100 horses here total.
Wow.
So it's a huge facility, and there's 2 indoors and 5 outdoor rings. And it's nice because it's busy, but it's not all your problem.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We just have to take care of our horses, but there's, there's always someone there to tell you that maybe you're not doing that right, or, if you need help with something. And Dirk has a lot of young horses and a lot of going horses, and it's just cool to see how they do it, because it's certainly a lot different than how we do it at home.
Yeah. What's a prime example that's easy to
I was just thinking,
describe?
I would say they're young horses. We probably have I don't know off the top of my head, 12 5-year-olds, and they haven't done nearly as much as our horses at home would do. If I understand this correctly, they get them here when they're the end of their 4-year-old year. And they have been broken in, but not no training whatsoever. Whereas we're expected to take the 4-year-olds to Fair Hill.
Right. And a lot of it, they've developed, they're not thoroughbreds, so they're probably still growing and developing, aren't they?
Exactly. But it is crazy in the 3 months I've been here, the horses that they're, wild and, bucking around and that kind of thing are now so good in the contact, and they feel so trained. And then obviously they have baby moments where the bird comes up and they, spin around.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
But if you had told me that they were really only started last fall, I would have been like, you're crazy. So I guess I'm saying they're way more trained than our 5-year-olds.
Right. Even though we start our 5-year-olds earlier.
Yeah. And I'm just sort of trying to figure out why they can do so much more in such a shorter time.
Right.
But it's crazy too, because none of them are the same type. None of them look the same. You've got one 5-year-old that you would think just did badminton the way his body looks, and you've got another one that looks like a chubby little pony. But they're all quality, and they all know what they're doing when you get on them, to like within reason.
Right.
But just like their basics are just way better.
Yeah, that's actually huge, isn't it? The basics. That's a really good comment. Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out, and then I'll.
Yeah. Well, when you find out, just let everybody else know, because that would be great for America.
Exactly. If we can just figure it out.
Help us out over here. Yeah. That'd be great.
I'm all about
That'd be great. Yeah. So what's you your guy's having a bit of a holiday, and then he comes back, and you'll probably, it sounds like you can do just about anything you want to do there in the summertime. You can event, you can show jump, you can do some dressage shows, you can do just about anything, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think his first show is going to be back to Poland. They have a Nations Cup. It's supposed to be pretty big and pretty impressive and really well done. I think it's the end of June or beginning of July. So that'll be his first sort of, the footing, apparently. We're in a drought right now. So the footing's already pretty hard, unfortunately. And
Wow.
So we're going to have to be a little bit choosy about where you go. But it's a Nations Cup, and everyone's going to be there. So, they're going to do a really good job with the footing there.
That'll be cool.
Back to the baby thing, though, because that reminded me. They also have just these shows where it's only cross-country rounds for the 5
I've
and 6
seen those on videos. Yeah, I've seen them on videos.
And I think that is like the best idea ever. Because, they're not ready to do a dressage test yet. And but they're, probably the equivalent of training level. And it gets them out, and they each get a score, and it's nice because you can say, oh, this one got a 7.8 and publicize it. Or you can, if your horse gets a 3 because it stops everything, you don't have to tell anyone.
Right.
Like unaffiliated shows.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's one cross country round. So it's like, not like you have to go and you sit on the hot trailer all day long. And you just go and you do your course, and they have like on Wednesdays, well, at least the ones that these guys go to, they have some on Wednesdays, they have some on the weekends. So, if Wednesday sucks, you can go do one on Saturday. And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
Anyway.
That's a great idea. That's awesome. Yeah. Wow.
And it just makes sense.
Wow. What an adventure you're having. That's so cool.
It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, Wooch. Yeah.
It really is an adventure. It's pretty cool. And it's, I think, even more cool, just like horses are, sounds corny, but like horses are a universal language. And it's pretty cool that I can just sort of be transplanted into another barn and sort of pick up where I left off. And I think I got extremely lucky with, not everyone gets the joke with my horse. And Dirk has sort of made it his personal mission. He's the only thoroughbred on the entire property. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But Dirk's made it his, and everyone's like, oh, it's so cool that he used to race. And I'm like, yeah, at home, these horses are like a dime dozen.
Really cool when I'm going down Centerline, folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But here it's like a big deal. So I think I got super lucky, obviously, with the program that I got put into. But yeah, I'm having a really good time. Learning a lot for sure.
That's awesome.
How's the food, Wooch? Eating plenty of...
the food is not great.
Oh, goodness.
Luckily for me, I have a great boyfriend who sends me boxes full of my favorite American snacks. But I was just at the grocery store the other day, and I'm like, I'm so over this. Like, if I eat more microwavable chicken, I'm going to turn into a microwavable chicken. Like, I'm over it.
There's a lot of sort of cold cuts and salami and cheese for breakfast.
Salami and cheese for breakfast, isn't it?
Yeah.
So much salami and cheese. If I never see salami and cheese again, I will die happy person.
So much salami and cheese. So much.
Oh, dear.
It is.
And I get so excited when I see American things in the grocery store. I'm like, I'm going to buy 5 things of Pringles just because I know what it says.
Just because you can. Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's so funny. That is awesome. Excellent. All right, Woods. Well, we're going to let you go and go to bed because it's getting late there. And
I'll let you get down. I'll let you get down to the pub for a beer and a schnitzel.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, we actually live in the middle of nowhere. There is not a pub as far as the eye can see, but I'll go microwave some chicken and call it.
Okay. We'll enjoy that. Enjoy.
The Eventing Writers Association of North America is the collective voice of writers, equine professionals, and owners in pursuit of enhancing the growing sport of eventing in North America. In cooperation with our members, governing bodies, related committees, and organizers, ERA of NA works to improve the overall welfare, safety, visibility, and growth of the sport. ERA of NA, your voice matters for the sport of eventing. Jump in and engage by becoming a member today. Find them online at www.eraofna.com.
Joining us now is the organizer of one of my most favorite events in the entire North America, Bromont, Sue Ockenden. Hi, Sue. How's it going?
Very good, thank you. Apart from the rain.
Okay. Well, I wanted to get you on the show today so that you could tell us a little bit about how Bromont's coming on. It is one of our most favorite events, and it's become a very it's an integral event for me because it's kind of just rolls around at the right time and all of that sort of thing. So how's it looking?
Oh, everything's looking great. We just spent 2 days with Derek and Jay Hambley's here and Dylan Barry. We're putting out all the courses out now, and we're just working our way to the finishing line, which will be around June 4th.
Okay. Very good.
The getting everything out and everything ready for the competitors.
Yep. And you say that you've had some rain, so what's the forecast?
Well, the rain is not a problem because we're sort of in a little bit mountainous here, not big mountains, but enough for a nice cool breeze to dry it all up. But the spring's been very late, so we've been unable to maintain the grass as much as we'd like to. But actually, I have to say it looks very good. I've got 2 cuts in before the major rain comes in, so we're in good shape.
That's fantastic. And so this year you've got an under 25 thing going on. Can you explain that to us?
Well, I've looked at all the lists when we put out the lists every year, and we have like 60 horses in a division. And, we underestimate our under 25 group. So I think we need to start looking at an under 25 group. I'd like to bring that to a proper section so they have somewhere to go. And also, I think it gives those younger riders a chance to compete amongst themselves, and also looking in the future to a kind of a team event. Thanks goodness for Mars Equestrian and the support they give, and also Steve Blauner to help create this program. What we're trying to do is select some riders to give them a little bit of sponsorship, and also give them some education in the sport as to walking the course. And they'll come in early, and we're trying to select a few each year that qualify for this grant that we're giving out.
I think that is such a freaking awesome idea, because there's some people that get there and to a 3-day event and they just haven't had the knowledge, and yes, they maybe have a trainer or a coach that's with them, but what a fantastic opportunity. I think this is such a cool idea.
Yeah, I agree with you. We need to work on it, and we need to make sure it works for them. But also, it gives them a chance to have some autonomy with us all and some help. I mean, we're starting in a small way. I mean, this is the sort of thing that the Mars Equestrian like to see being money spent on. And Steve Blauner is 100% behind it. I've always had this vision for the under 25 myself. I look at Canada right now. We have no growth of youth coming forward. The young riders is not working as well as we'd like. So we've got to come up with something to support this area of riders.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's open across the board for them all. Even with you, Max, it's with the stable management, the walking of the course, a jump school. We won't be able to do much with them when they come to the competition, but we're going to give them a good feel to go home with.
Right, which is really cool. I mean, that's it's something that's an experience that they're not going to get anyplace else, really.
Well, we hope other people join the band and do the same thing for these riders, because we need something to work with the Americas, and we've got to start working on our own Americas right now and create a group just like they have young riders in Europe, the 25 and under. We need that in the Americas.
I think there's, for you guys, the event, it's basically the only thing it really costs you is another set of ribbons, because you already have the course is already set. It's just doing another set of, like I said, another set of ribbons. I mean, so it's not that hard to produce, is it?
No, it's not. It's not only that, it's the education. We need to put some money into them, a little bit of money to give them some education and show them how it's done. I mean, a lot of people tend to buy a horse these days and upgrade too fast. They don't go to the right courses, and then they think they can go to Europe. And we've got to stop this, and we've got to educate them.
Yep, absolutely.
So how does it work? I mean, like, have the young riders, is it like grants or sponsorship, or have they been selected already, or like is it not too late for someone to give you a call?
Right. I tell you right now, I've always wanted an under 25 group. I think 20 and not 21 and under is too young. I think under 25 gives us a good basis for a good group of horses to make a proper section, in the sport. So if we could do that in the 2, 3, and 4-star, I think the 4-star is a little bit way off right now, but the 2 and the 3-star, we can definitely grow our band of riders for the future. And if we can educate them through that time, they have a more chance to go to a 4-star and then go on further to a Kentucky or wherever they want to go in life. But there are some people that just want to compete because they enjoy competing. They're not the bravest in the world, and the 2 and the 3-star is a good opportunity for them to get the education.
Yeah. So
there is a selection, though. I mean, this is our first year, so we've got to work it out. But there is a selection. They all send it in, but Bromont's not an easy course, so we just can't get somebody who fits their first Bromont. You know what I mean? So we got to select the people right. It doesn't mean to say they're not capable of getting selected. Maybe we can make it a little bit bigger than what we're doing now. But right now, we're just starting it. So let's see how it works.
Yeah. And so basically what happens, just talk us through it. The people have found out that there was going to be a bit of a scholarship that's happening. And so people applied and they had to sort of write down why they wanted to have this. Is that right? Yeah. Am I saying this right?
And also their qualifications too. So anyway, we want to develop the under 25 group for the future. Okay. The basic idea is to select them so that they're capable of doing what we're doing in Bromont, and open the door for those that need help. So this selection committee, Peter Gray, we've got Kerry Milliken and Steve Blauner running it right now, and we've got clinicians coming in like Doug Payne's coming up to do some jumping. Peter will do some dressage, and there are going to be some other people invited. They're going to have an inspirational talk from probably Boyd Martin, and we're going to have Jessica Phoenix from Canada. And we're going to do that right at the beginning. They're going to come in on the Sunday and start a little workout Monday through to when they do the competition. Obviously, we can't do a lot with them, but we can give them a start in the sport when they're doing a competition, because those horses have got to compete. And it's a grant of up to $3,000. It is in Canada, so it'll be Canadian dollars, and it helps them for their entry, their stabling, their accommodation, and their travel, depending where they're coming from. I mean, we're keeping it as a small grant, but it's something that helps them with their entries.
As they would say, there's no such thing as a small check when your name's written on it.
Yeah, right. That's right. And I think that's actually fantastic. Okay. I'd like to,
really cool.
Like to put my hand up at the moment and say, could there be a grant for like the person that comes from the furthest away?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's because that's me. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, I'm not under 25 anymore. I mean, maybe we could have like
make a grandfather clause.
Yeah,
exactly.
The old veterans class. Do you know?
Exactly.
Right.
They call me a veteran, Max. Oh God, can you believe it?
Oh, that hurts. That kind of stinks.
It doesn't it? No, I don't feel like I'm a veteran. No.
That's all right. They refer to us as the antique groom, so that's our group's name now.
Well, Max, we're going to include you in that. You've got to come at one time and be one of those members to help us grow this group.
I would love to.
We were just talking about that 5 minutes ago, and Max thinks that her event at
in Middleburg
is going to be on a different weekend next year, and she's very excited. So she'll be able to get up there.
Good. Well, look, I mean, we're looking forward to doing it. I hope we get good weather. I see the sun's out all of a sudden. It must be because you lot are calling me, and I don't like doing interviews. But since Max is there, I feel a little bit more confident today.
Yeah.
But you got to remember one thing. Without sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do this, because I sure as hell couldn't afford to do it. And I'm a little bit worried about my own country in Canada, because we're not doing anything for we've got our elite riders, and that's all you see. We don't see anybody coming up. But I will tell you, there's 2 kids driving, one from BC and one from Alberta, and I would like to help those people out west so that they can come east,
Wow,
because
that's a long way. Good on them.
Good on them. It's a long drive, and I want to see them be able to compete and have a good time. The days of Nick Holmesmith.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty great.
Fantastic. Okay, well, Sue, while we've got you on the phone, can you remind our listeners what the date is, where it is?
Are you kidding me? I'm so anal at my age. I can't remember when the date is. I think it's the 4th till, is it the 7th of June?
The 9th.
See how bad I am?
It's the 9th.
Correct.
It's 7. It's okay. 7, 8, 9. Yep.
Yes.
I only know that because that's the date of mine.
And
that's too bad.
It is 7, 8. The jog will be on the 5th of.
It'll be on the Wednesday. The jog will be on the Wednesday.
Yeah, it's on the Wednesday on the 5th.
Okay, competition starts on the Thursday. We seem to be getting a lot of entries this year, so I hope I'm very excited about the whole thing. So we'll see how it all goes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Sue, thank you so much for coming on, and we are really excited to get up there. I can't wait to get up to Bromont. Like I said, it's one of my most favourite events that I ever go to.
You will.
Yeah, no, I know. Don't worry, you always look after me. Always a great event. So, yeah. Anyway, well, we'll see you there. Well, Max, Bromont, like I said, I probably say it so many times. I love Bromont. It's a great event.
You too.
And it's good for the 1-stars, like fairly solid, brings horses on really, really well.
2
stars. Sorry, 2-star. 2-star.
The preliminary 3-day horses, yes.
Yeah, just when I thought I was getting the hang of this.
I know.
But it's a fabulous event, but also there's a fabulous town, and we have a traditional lobster night, which I'm really excited about as well. Well, because it's you're up in that area, Max. You're up there, and you can get lobsters. and they're not expensive compared to sort of down here in Ocala, which is a long way away from cold water. So it's fantastic, and I'm really happy about what Sue's doing and what's going on with the under 25s.
Really cool what they're doing. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. And because if nobody does it, nothing's going to happen, and one day everyone will look around and say, our elite riders are old and they're finished, and we don't have anybody, we don't have any more teams, anyone for teams, and let's face it, Canada does not have a huge pool of elite riders to choose from.
No, they don't. No.
So, it's a little bit like New Zealand. So, the riders are great, they're very good and things, but you've got to encourage the young people to come along. And it's been one of my things. I've always been a bit funny about the whole young rider thing. I think that young riders is great, but I want to see people not just going to young riders, not just saying, young riders is the pinnacle of what I want to do, and now I'm going to go to college, and now I'm going to get married. I'd really like to see people encourage on past that, and going on and keeping on in the sport.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there obviously some people have different wants and needs and all that stuff, and maybe that's not what they're going to do. But in the end, there are people, there is more out there than just young riders.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. So it's great that they're getting behind this under 25. Now, the other thing I thought of something in its regards to Wurge's interview, and when she's talking about 75 people in arena. Okay. And I just want to tell this little story because it reminds me of being in Aachen. Because we competed in Aachen quite a few times when it became the 4-star short at Aachen.
Oh, well done.
Yep. So, I did it. 4-star short at Aachen. And it's a teams competition. In New Zealand, we would always go over there and compete in the teams as part of what we did. And I was on Little Clifton Lush, and I was riding around. And we're in a 20 by 60, okay? We're in the 20 by 60. There are 25 people in there, but also Ankie van Grunsven on this horse that looked like a giant, yeah?
Right.
And they have those giant padded leg wraps too, don't they?
Oh, and bell boots on all 4 legs.
Bell boots and the whole thing. And these people going around on these massive dressage horses being all flash and bouncing off the ground and all the rest of it. And I'm trotting around on little Lush, okay, my New Zealand thoroughbred.
That is awesome.
My little thoroughbred, and I know exactly what she was talking about. It's exactly the same feeling, it was kind of like, oh my God, there's Ankie van Grunsven, and then it was and oh my God, I'm on my little wee
thoroughbred,
tiny with a tiny trot, and it was kind of weird, but then it was like, God, how cool is this? How really cool is this? So someone take a photo, it was
exactly. Get a picture of me here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was cool. It's weird because those people are actually just normal human beings. I mean, perhaps not all the dressage riders, but I mean, most of the eventers at the high level are really normal human beings.
Absolutely.
And so, it's kind of weird, but when you start talking to them and things, and they're kind of just, oh yeah. So
they put their, what do they say? They put their pants on one leg at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
So anyway, Max, this has been a long show. And so for every long show, we have to have our shout out to Anita Nimpton.
Except for Anita's not riding anymore, Joe.
She's not?
No.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll shout her out. We'll shout out to Caroline Martin because she is still riding and she does her trot sets to our show.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, Caroline, enjoy this one. Okay. It's because it's going to be a long one. Anyway, Max, you need to start wrapping this show up.
Okay. Well, everyone, thanks so much for listening to the Eventing Riders Association of North America podcast. You can learn more about Eventing Riders Association of North America at eraofna.com. Find the links to today's guests and topics at eventingradio.com. Follow Eventing Radio on Facebook. Just search The Eventing Radio Show, and on Twitter at Eventing Radio. Listen to Eventing Radio anytime, anywhere with free Horse Radio Network app for iPhone and Android. You can go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. You can also subscribe via iTunes. This is Max, and you can find me pretty much most days on a conference call these days. You can find me on Facebook, Max Corcoran Horse Care. You can find me on Instagram at MMC338.
I follow you now, Max.
Do you?
Yes, I found you on Instagram.
Did you? Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I pressed the follow button. And this is Joe. This is Joe, and you can find me on joemeyreventing.com. You can find me on Facebook, Joe Meyer. You can follow me on Twitter, Joe Meyer, EVNTR, and you can find me on Instagram, Joe Meyer Eventing. And you have been listening to the Eventing Radio Show, and it has been fantastic. And Max, I think we'll talk to them all again in 1 month's time.
Bye, everybody.